What if he got thrown in the room and then Mara says over a loudspeaker, "Luke, I want to play a game."
First, disassemble your hand. You must take one power source and use it on the door. The second power source then has to power your life support system.
You need to fetch the key out of R2-D2. Hello there. You found the Lost Holocron, an ancient artifact of lore and legends from a galaxy far, far away. Each transmission of the Lost Holocron, you will join an episodic discussion of media from the Star Wars universe. We will be your guides. I'm Tim, and I'm joined by Kyle. Scott.
Hi.
And Stuart.
Crikey.
We will be covering the material up to and including Chapter 21 of Heir to the Empire. Scott, what has happened so far?
Story so far. Luke Skywalker and Leia Organa Solo are evading Imperial capture as, unknown to them, Grand Admiral Thrawn has promised them to the Dark Jedi clone Joruus C'Baoth in exchange for his allegiance. While Chewbacca and Leia go to ground on Kashyyyk, Luke is captured by Talon Karrde in deep space, after being disarmed both physically and metaphysically. He awakens a week later to find himself still firmly in Karrde's grasp while the smuggling lord deliberates his fate, and his lieutenant, Mara Jade, seethes over the pain Luke has seemingly caused her in her mysterious past. Meanwhile, Han Solo and Lando Calrissian find a point of contact with Karrde's organization, hoping to extend legitimate business relationships from the New Republic. Tipping Fynn Torve off to escape the entanglement with local authorities of a cargo seizure, Han and Lando broker a deal with Torve to get a face-to-face with Talon Karrde back at Karrde's base of operations. And, Kyle, what happened in Chapter 21?
And I gotta zoom in because I can't read. I don't know how to read. I've been lying to you the whole time.
Hasn't been reading a single chapter of this book.
How do I?
I know. I asked him at first. I was like, "What do you think of these chapters?" He's like, "They're great." For the third time.
Oh, I can read. I can see. I can fight. You guys into that sick Fairly Odd Parents reference?
Oh, that's going back.
Mara Jade convenes with Talon Karrde to discuss the conundrum facing them. Han and Lando will be arriving, presently escorting an indebted Fynn Torve. Even though they hold Luke hostage, Karrde is unwilling to tip his hand without first determining Thrawn's specific interest in Skywalker, and thus his fair market value. Karrde decides the best course of action is for Jade to relocate Skywalker to a storeroom while he plays host to Skywalker's unwitting allies. In the storeroom, Luke presumes that he has been left to his own devices in a sudden scramble. He makes contact with R2 in the next room of the storehouse, but underestimating Karrde's thoroughness, he finds no perches on which to mount an escape. That is, until he realizes an advantage hiding right under his own prosthetic skin.
Nice.
Wow, I do read a lot better when I can see. All right, well, first things first. I had to look up what the name of the Rancor trainer was. And I think it's Maliki. And I believe why Mara Jade hates Luke is because they killed their son. That Mara Jade was married to Luke and killed him. That's the only explanation. Even Karrde is like, what is your motivation in this story? We also want to know her motivation. He says that. It's in this chapter. Yes. He doesn't know what she's doing.
And we don't know what she's doing either.
And I feel like Timothy Zahn has reached across the void to feel Tim's frustration, and he's written a very specific "you, Tim" in this chapter by Mara Jade saying, "Well, he can just go on waiting for that reveal."
Yeah. Damn you, Timothy Zahn.
No, but we have gotten our first hint. So why Mara Jade has some sort of beef with Luke, and it has something to do with Jabba's palace. Yeah, because as they were walking to the new locker room that he's going into, he just got a weird vision of Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
Specifically the Rancor fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was interesting how they went there because Mara recognized his outfit. Like, I guess it was like the black getup that he was wearing. I guess it was the same black getup that he was wearing. And she mentions, or she somehow she recognizes it and just seethes over it. She hates it because she recognizes it, and then he has the vision going back to Jabba's palace. It's like, are they connected somehow?
Wait, did Luke not have a costume change in Return of the Jedi?
I guess not.
No, he did actually.
Oh, did he?
Okay.
Yeah, it's just subtle. In the beginning of the movie, he has some like black robes, kind of like the prequel robes over his black outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Then later in the movie, it's just the black outfit. In between that, there's the part with Endor camo, but that's an accessory. Okay. So he has 3 outfits total in the movie.
Yeah.
I don't think a robe counts as a new outfit, though.
I don't think me taking off a jacket technically counts as a costume change.
Well, yeah. So he has 1 outfit, 2 accessories. First the robes, and then the camo.
Right. Okay.
Well, then he's back in black when he's fighting Vader on the Death Star, though.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's the same outfit he had on the whole time.
It's like all black, and then you're like, "Oh, is he going to turn over to the dark side?" But then, like, the little white flap comes down, and you're like, "Oh no, he's black."
Yeah, symbolism.
Yeah, symbolism.
We love it. Speaking of which, like, how long after Return of the Jedi is this? 5 years after. Okay,
5 years,
so why is he wearing the same robes for 5 years, especially now that he's basically the only candidate for Space Pope?
Maybe it's because he was a poor kid and he got 1 fancy new outfit and he's set now.
Maybe,
I wear my favorite pants for like a week straight.
Yeah, I mean, he could just be renewing that. I think that's his favorite getup, and so when it wears out, he just buys the same stuff again.
You open up his closet and it's just an entire rack of this outfit on hangers.
Yeah, so he can do that dramatic thing of like wearing black, and then as soon as you think he's gonna like go Super Saiyan and busted with rage, the little white flap flips down. It's like, no, I'm a Jedi like my father before me.
That's when you know it's serious. Tosses away the lightsaber and runs in with his fists.
You failed, Your Highness. Eat fist.
Take my right hook. Yeah.
Oh man, I can't remember what it's from, but there was a thing. It was like it was some sort of knockoff of Harry Potter or something like that, and somebody was threatening somebody with magic, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, well I don't need magic to fight you. I'll just actually beat your ass."
Oh, and there's a hilarious copy pasta that I like. That basically the thesis of it is Harry Potter should have used a gun. Yeah, and it goes through all the reasons he should have. Yeah.
Well, in the lore, in like old history of Star Wars, like legend stuff, the answer to defeating Jedi is a gun, because Mandalorians use slug throwers, which are just guns, because it's the lightsabers and it hits them.
Yep. It is true, it works.
So it is an upsetting fact, but just, somebody with a gun could take out a Jedi.
Yep.
Especially a shotgun.
Oh, over.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Another thing I'm wondering, so we keep referencing original trilogy events in it, and it starts to make me wonder, how much can we mine from that while still making it feel realistic to this character's history? Because it's been 5 years. Shouldn't they have had other adventures in that time span?
I'm sure there's some that Timothy Zahn have written that we haven't read. Because we decided to start with Thrawn. This isn't the start of it. We don't know what we missed.
No. Well, and even the book that I read, the Courtship of Princess Leia, I'm pretty sure that takes place before they got married.
Yeah.
And they're married at this. Yeah, they're married at this point because they're pregnant. So yeah, that book takes place before they ever hook up or whatever. So that one, I'm pretty sure takes place before this.
Yeah, I think that's like a year before this, or maybe 2 years before this one. But,
yeah, something like that.
But yeah, I can't remember if from the summary they tie the knot in the end or not. But
yeah, I can't remember either.
But yeah, there are earlier adventures that they have, and yeah, I think how often is too often to have a reference back to the original trilogy without referencing other adventures? I think that's the point, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Surely they've done more. That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The answer is yes. We just haven't read them. And also, there's the question of like, yes, timeline-wise, Courts of Princess Leia takes place before this. Was that released before this trilogy, though?
I don't believe so. No.
So I don't. What counts? I'm always a little iffy whenever something comes out afterwards, and it's like, oh, well, this happened. No,
Yeah.
it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the other thing as well is like what is more formative, and the events of the original trilogy are for these characters, not for like us in the real world, but like for those characters, that is probably a huge anchor point in their lives of like, this is when we first met. This is where we first blew up a giant space station. When we second blew up a giant space station, we defeated the last space pod.
This is when I lost my hand.
Yeah, I lost my hand. We Guy Fawkesed our way into, success, and now we don't know what to do with it.
Right. That's fair. Yeah.
I don't know if it was mentioned or not. Do you think they took away Luke's hand? Does that count as a weapon for him?
Yeah.
You think they would take off as much as possible of him, right?
Wait, at what point?
And when he's in prison right now.
Oh, well, he still has his hand.
Oh, he does that now.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
has both of his hands.
I would take away anything that he had on him.
Right.
Is his prosthetic detachable, though?
It has to be.
You think so?
Yeah.
Imagine if it was, and he just sent his hand across the room with the Force.
Left the thing.
He lets it go for its own adventure. It gets its chapter in a book.
Yeah. Oh, the hand POV. Yes.
Right. You heard the fan theory that the thing is just his cut off hand, right?
How do they link that together, though?
I don't know.
It
But I
just
like
drifted through space.
I love it.
The
Yeah.
same way they link that Willy Wonka is one of the Weasley brothers or whatever.
What?
There's a theory that one of the surviving Weasley brother is Willy Wonka.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
this next thing I'm about to say is not a joke. The original opening for The Force Awakens was Luke's disembodied hand holding the lightsaber floating through space and crash landing on a planet.
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
Yeah.
Does it survive that re-entry?
Probably not.
It must have been like a no-atmosphere kind of asteroid or something like that, like Paul's
Maybe
Master
that's
or
why they
something.
didn't do it.
Yeah.
Because they were like, oh, we can't show the hand burning up.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm still wondering how Maz, whatever her name is, got his lightsaber.
A good question for another time.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, another thing is in one of the books, the newer books, the post-legend stuff, there's a opening scene where some hooded figures, potentially I want to say Templar Knights, but that's not it.
Oh, the Knights of Ren?
Yeah, the Knights of Ren. But potentially even Knights of Ren are selling Luke's lightsaber. Or, yeah. So someone does have it.
Nice.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, the garbage collectors on on Bespin would probably recognize maybe not the hand, but the lightsaber as a good relic to keep.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Ugnaughts.
Ugnaughts would be like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
Look what I found.
I could use this to power my my tools.
My rifle.
Yeah.
My blaster rifle.
In the newer comics, Luke did go back to Bespin to try to get his lightsaber back and ask the Ugnaughts about it.
Oh, okay.
And they weren't able to get it because the Empire showed up and they kind of just had to get out of there.
Of course.
Because it was still like a hotbed, considering what had just happened there. But then they ended the issue with one Ugnaught finding it and being like, oh, and that was it. Yeah. So that's some info we have.
Okay.
But that's canon. Let's get back to Legends.
Yeah.
I don't talk about canon here.
Well, I want to ask, like, is anything really happen in the Mara Jade and Talon Karrde section of this? I feel like that was a little bit. What did we learn?
Just a lot of setting pieces.
We learned that Karrde sees his employees' debts as of the organization, and that seems a little bit I don't know, it seems very generous, but
It does. Can also be a little irresponsible.
yeah, it seems a little bit irresponsible, and it seems like Karrde uses that as like the we talked about the cult leader mindset, and I feel that's a way to really hold on to people, and but we paid off your debts, remember? And,
Jim Jonesy, yeah.
We're like one big happy family here.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly just Mara being grumpy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a little interesting that Luke was still holding his, even while she's like screaming at him or whatever, and despite him not being connected to the Force, he still holds his Jedi like serenity and composure, and he just has that like, you're not going to get under my skin type attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Even no matter how hard she's trying, but I don't know.
Well, it is part of the training to like not just be one with the Force, but also like it changes your mindset when you go through.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I found interesting, that he was still able to, kind of revert to default, I guess, without the Force and such.
And the last time that we talked about Mara getting angry, but not being angry in the same way that Palpatine is angry, like it seems interesting that if she is some sort of like Inquisitor type character from this canon era, that she didn't get the memo still about like, even if you are angry, it doesn't have to be this kind of bubbling on the stove kind of anger.
Hers is almost like a immature anger.
I think he also doesn't care. Like he's seen a lot larger threats. He faced Darth Vader and the Emperor. This is a Karen yelling at him. he's a military vet being yelled at by some woman he doesn't know.
Fair.
He just wants to go home to his droids.
No.
Just wants to go back to moisture farming.
I mean, honestly, though, that's probably why he's so calm with her and just like analyzing her reactions, because he's like, I mean, who are you? Like,
right.
I don't understand why this is happening.
And he has no idea her past at this point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is the most that they've ever interacted.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I was kind of getting a little bit of a almost like a childish vibe in a way from her, because when she puts him in, when she locks him in the room, she's like, "Oh well, we'll get you some food or whatever." He's like, "I'm fine." And she's like, how does she say
if
it?
I care.
Yeah, ask me if I care. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's almost like I don't know. I don't want to say like she's kind of developing a crush on him, but it's like that's kind of like how like a schoolgirl would act towards someone.
Like pretending she's not interested.
Yeah.
This schoolyard love interest.
Maybe she's secretly been admiring him for years, and he's never like noticed her, and she's angry at him about that.
Maybe you didn't notice me at Jabba's palace. I was all dressed up. Nobody apparently noticed her because, like, I don't know. I don't think she wasn't like digitally added later on to the Return of the Jedi, was she?
Do we know about that?
Probably not.
No, she wasn't.
I don't think RJ's in this in anything canon at all.
Yeah, no, this is George probably saw this like, actually no, George literally viewed this stuff as things he allowed to exist for the brand, but ultimately his canon things he made were going to overrule everything.
Yeah.
So he probably just saw Mara and was like, "Oh, cute."
He's like, yeah. Actually, I did see that interview. He was like, "Oh, that's just other stuff, and that's what other people's adventures are. But like, they have to fit with me. I'm the original source of this stuff."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Which I think is a pretty pragmatic way to approach it.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got this kind of universe that you've created, I think that's the best way to go about it, because in the end, he is the creative mind of what this is, and anything that he puts down, all those pin markers, everything else needs to conform around that. Otherwise, it's, you end up getting that written by committee feel of the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, although sometimes you can get a good share of collaborators together. I think it's less about the process or method and more about the minds involved.
Yeah. The High Republic has had that kind of issue. I feel like written by committee, there's a lot of inclusions, and it doesn't seem to be like it hasn't been stripped down to what the actual story is. It's let's add another point of view. Let's add another point of view.
Okay. That sounds a little exhausting.
Yeah. So of the novels that I have read up to, I can't remember, phase 2, phase 3, it's quite an exhausting read.
Yeah.
Was anybody else, once Luke got locked in there and he had to find a power source, was like, immediately said, you've got a robotic hand, right?
No, I actually didn't think of it.
Yeah, I totally didn't even think about it until it was like, his right hand, his prosthetic, his dual power source right hand. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. As soon as I figured that, I was like, oh, yeah.
Maybe it's because I read the book before, but
yeah. Also, I totally imagined the room just being full of like cardboard boxes with like pen corners. And then I was like, oh, wait, I'm reading Star Wars.
Yeah.
You got to imagine those plasteel containers from KOTOR or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did think his MacGyvering was pretty fun, though.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty smart. I kind of thought, from his history working on, like, I don't know, Tatooine or whatever, I thought he would kind of know a little bit more about how to hotwire something from, like, a small power source. But because he goes, hey, R2, what do you know about... I mean, prosthetics, I guess, could be a little bit different, but it seems like
that's what I'm guessing is that he's done a lot with big machines, but not a lot with like small microelectronics. Because in the prequel trilogy, we get the impression that, and even in those like what are they called, the visual dictionaries, that Anakin it says that he works on his hand. Like many times, that he's always like fiddling with those small electronic things, but it seems that Luke is not as interested in that he's lost his own hand. He's not working on it, opening it up and whatnot, because it looks like exactly like a real hand, whereas Anakin's was just like the T-800 from Terminator.
Well, and also it does get repaired when his hand gets shot on the sail barge, but I guess he really wasn't involved in the repair work on that.
It does. Yeah, it gets shot.
Yeah,
but honestly, it actually just seemed fine because he kind of pulled a glove over it for the rest of the movie.
So we move after that.
Yeah, when he was in the X-wing on the way to Dagobah, as he was talking to R2 or someone on the comms, he just like put a glove over that hand.
So wait, did it get fixed between that?
Not that we saw in the movie, but I could assume it did afterward. I think it's fair to assume.
Yeah, because it's like, how would it still function if it got like blasted that,
Probably wasn't a critical hit.
I guess not.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was a pretty direct hit, though.
Just a flesh wound.
Yeah.
Just a flesh wound. Yeah. No, and then I'm always wondering, like, why is he holding his lightsaber, like, way up in the air? And then, of course, his hand's going to get shot.
It's theatrics. We know that Luke has a dramatic flair.
It's a space opera, guys.
Yeah.
Have you not seen the original poster for the Star Wars?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Big fan.
That is probably my favorite poster from all the Star Wars movies.
Same. I am very fond of the Empire Strikes Back one. The one where it's like watercolored and Han and Leia are in some kind of embrace on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that classic one. I like that one quite a bit. Yeah.
I also love that thing. People are like, Darth Vader really pulled up the theatrics for the hallway fight in Rogue One because all of his chest lights were off.
Yeah, he pulled the most dramatic.
Go in stealth mode.
Yeah, stealth mode. Of course, he had to be dramatic just for that point. He had to make himself nearly suffocate just so he could be dramatic.
Like father, like son.
Yeah. Okay, so I actually do want to try to figure out what is Mara Jade's deal based on the information we have, and it's possible we don't have enough, but let's brainstorm. Jabba's palace,
right?
Seems to like the Empire,
right? The Rain Wars her son, yeah.
Doesn't like Mon Mothma.
No.
And,
I mean, she's definitely Imperial aligned. She's not with the Hutts, right?
Yeah.
But it has to be something about something very particular that happened that day. And
well, she said it destroyed her life.
Yeah.
Yeah, she stood silently and watched let him destroy her life.
Is that supposed to be on the sail barge, or is that supposed to be when he
I thought it was actually like in the palace, but
in the palace? Yeah. Okay.
maybe not.
All right. So I'm pretty convinced that all the allusions up until this chapter have been saying that she is some sort of prodigal to the Emperor, or like she is been under the tutelage of the Emperor, because just the way she sits in the chair that's supposed to like evoke that image of the Emperor, that her hate has been like the Emperor. Maybe she was on some sort of mission to retrieve Han Solo, maybe from Jabba's palace when he was in Carbonite.
Did the Emperor
And
give a shit about Holocron?
Possibility.
Well, I think
That was like a side quest that was kind of going on.
yeah, but it's also bait to turn Luke to the dark side, right? So I'm thinking that she was there to snatch the Chewie, Han, Leia out from under Jabba's grip, so that then the Emperor could use that too. But because she failed at her mission to take that away, that being in that kind of toxic workplace, that you fail, and Darth Vader's going to force choke you, the Emperor's going to lightning zap you, he's going to drain your life force. That's
canon.
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, was it before this chapter or during this chapter where it mentions something about her?
That's the next one. The next one says that
Is it
she's
the next
only
one?
had
Okay.
a handful of times. Yeah.
You read the next chapter.
Oh my god.
I remember because these three chapters, like this section, just blends together. So it's like,
Yeah.
It doesn't help if one of the POV sections directly leads in.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I like that theory of her being undercover, working for the Emperor or the Empire in general. We don't know, but yeah. That seems the most solid so far. And it would make sense because, like, she stood by, so that indicates, like, some sort of passive role, which if you're undercover, you're going to be quite passive for quite a bit.
Yeah.
So she probably didn't take an opportunity that she should have. But then that wouldn't make Luke destroy her life. But then again, she's being pretty pissy about it, so she could be thinking dramatically.
Yeah, and if she was supposed to like get Han Solo from the, if she was supposed to like steal him away from Jabba, shouldn't she be pretty upset with Leia for melting him?
No, but they all get captured immediately after that.
Yeah.
That's the other thing is that's a very specific. She's specifically mad at Luke, like not the gang.
Right, at Luke.
Yeah.
Maybe Luke was unexpected and he threw a wrench in the plans.
Yeah.
Maybe just like he did when he was on what was that planet?
All of them.
The one with the tapestry and the silly string sticks.
Oh, yeah.
What was that?
Bimasari.
Yeah.
Nobody expects Luke.
Nobody
A
expects
lot of
the
city strain in my life.
space pope.
Well, with the hints that we've been getting, that to throw out a non-silly explanation, if we do think she works for the Empire, if we are getting hints that she's force sensitive, there is a potential that before Luke was known, Mara Jade was going to be Darth Vader's replacement.
Oh my god. I love that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. He has usurped the succession from her.
So she took out went to her career, like just took out her entire career options.
Oh my god, yeah.
That's excellent.
She was supposed to be she was going to be the next one, but now she's nothing.
Oh my god.
But I do like more that she gave birth to a Rancor and takes care of it with a shirtless man. Who also does feed the pit monster.
Kyle, you haven't been a Star Wars fan for a very long time, but I officially want to knight you right now.
Oh man, I totally get her anger now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another woman being usurped by a man in the workplace.
Right.
Based on him doing no effort.
Yeah. Just nepotism.
Literal nepotism.
I don't know what that has to do specifically with it being in Jabba's palace. Well, I don't know.
I think like that he's just shown her up or something for the Emperor to see Luke as the potential for the next apprentice.
Yeah.
So
Palpatine's like, oh my god, did you see that flip he did off the diving board? That was sick.
It was assumed he was dead at that point, right?
Yeah.
Luke?
Yeah, because Darth Vader just fought him and he fell into a pit. So maybe Darth was like talking to the Emperor and like, hey, he's dead. And the Emperor was like, all right, well, I do have Mara Jade over here.
It's possible.
And then as soon as he's back, she knows, like, oh, this fool's going to replace me.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, because it's possible that he was keeping a pretty low profile between Empire Strikes Back and this.
And he did chop off his hand, so maybe that's also like, oh, well, he's damaged property now. So
Wait, no. I just remembered in Empire Strikes Back, Vader contacts Luke through the Force towards the end of the movie when he's on the mountain.
Would he tell the Emperor about that, though?
That's true.
Because he also wants to bring Luke under his wing to usurp the Emperor. So
that's true. Yeah.
He might want to sit on that information.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, hold on. You know how there's that story about Luke? They could have not told. Anyway, here's the story. During the filming of The Empire Strikes Back, Luke's line that he heard from David Prowse in the suit was that I killed your father, and then James Earl Jones did the dub of "No, I am your father," and then there's that picture of the supposed picture around the internet of this is when the original crew found out that Luke was the son of Vader, and they're all like, "Oh my god!" But at the very end of that, when Luke is being contacted through the Force, he goes, "Father." He knows that's so. Didn't
sounds like a late edit or something.
That would be the only crew that knows. I do know this story. And what David Prowse said was that Obi-Wan killed your father.
Oh, shit, that's even bigger.
Yeah. And Mark was the only one told so that he knew how to react appropriately.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But crew definitely would have found out for him going father, or they could have done a skeleton crew for that shot as well, which they probably did.
Yeah. Either that or they would have assumed that Luke's father was coming back from the dead, just like a Force Ghost.
True, yeah.
They wouldn't even have to tell him that Vader was the one contacting him.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, they don't know the context. I do know from having worked on a set, if practices are still the same, you're given sides each day, which are just the script pages you're working on. And the crew like to talk about what they're reading. As they're working. I had some guys on the show I worked on being like, oh yeah, I've been reading as we go through and it's pretty dark. I like this, things like that. So the crew probably could have been discussing it based on the sides they have. Yeah.
George Lucas is there in the back room just writing out all these extra sides so nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
He's writing all the decoy cue cards.
Yeah.
It's all the unused material from the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Oh my god.
which is why that movie turned out so crazy.
Speaking of which, this is completely random, but the other day I was thinking of the quality scale for Star Wars. And at one end we have Empire Strikes Back, and the other end, the Holiday Special. And I felt that was pretty accurate.
Right.
For the entire quality spectrum of Star Wars.
From 0 to 10.
Yeah. Any last thoughts on this chapter?
I don't know. I feel like something else happened that I forgot about.
I would love a scene where Luke disassembles his hand to the point that it's just like a mess of metal and sharp bits, then he just gets somebody in the neck and shanks his way out.
Yeah.
I think it'd be funny if it was like snowballed from like, you know, like we played off his force ADHD or whatever, and he's like, he goes to fix his hand, and he's like, oh shit, now I need to go find a screwdriver, and then he like goes off to find a screwdriver, and he's like, oh shit, now I gotta fix the drawer that the screwdriver's in, and then it's like,
What if he got thrown in the room and then Mara says over a loudspeaker, Luke, I want to play a game.
First, disassemble your hand.
Yeah.
It was a duel.
Or no, that's how he would get her, because she'd be like, you must like remove a limb or whatever, and he just like chops off his hand. He's like, gotcha. She's like, no.
What do they call it? A dual power source something?
yeah.
First, you must take one power source and use it on the door. The second power source then has to power your life support system.
You need to fetch the key out of R2-D2.
No, I enjoyed this chapter. I'm assuming next chapter is going to be Han and Lando.
Lando. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have our swab off between Lando and Karrde.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, before the sentence, was this the chapter where when Karrde and Jade were talking, he's like, "Oh, you don't have to interact with them. You just have to have dinner with them. It's fine." Or was that the next chapter?
I think that's the next one.
It was this one. He said that yeah, she wants to be excused from the festivities, and he says that don't worry, you'll only be there to greet them and have dinner with them and something. I was like, what other things is she going to be missing out on?
Yeah.
Right?
You're excused from the back massaging sessions we'll be having. But yeah, I cannot imagine if I was like, hey, I really don't want to hang out with the guests coming over tonight. It's like, oh, you don't have to. You just have to open the door for them. It's good. You want to just sit down, quietly talk with them. You're free to go after that.
Yeah.
Why does she have to be there, though?
That's the other thing. There's no reason.
Well, she's his like lieutenant now, or whatever, I guess. But
yeah, so she's a second in command.
Right, but she's not a dinner guest. Why is he?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other important things she could be doing as lieutenant of their mercenary group.
Right.
Yeah.
She's just his arm candy.
Maybe it's his whole family vibe with his smuggling organization.
Yeah.
Maybe this is Karrde trying to figure out what's up with her. Maybe she's like, well, maybe we have her on some of Luke's friends.
Yeah.
Or say something or something.
He's trying to figure out more clues.
God damn it, Kyle! Stop being so smart this episode.
He's trying to see if she, gives him any more pieces to play with.
Yeah, it's either that or he's trying to teach her how to not be so volatile. Of like, being around these people is practice about, not blowing off the handle of.
What if he has a spray bottle in his back pocket?
Bad marks.
Off the table.
Yeah.
I feel like this one's going to lead pretty nicely into the next one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully. We don't go back to Chewbacca land.
Yeah.
Right.
Back to Kashyyyk, guys. This has been the Lost Holocron. You can find transcripts, links to discussions, and more at our website, lostholocron.com. While you're there, you can learn how you can support the creation of future episodes. Read on, and we will be waiting for you in the next transmission. We would be honored if you would join us.